months since President Trump took office, and his Department of Government Efficiency seems laser-focused on getting the government's financial house in order through program cuts and imposing tariffs. Mike Koinen from Principal Preservation Services is here now to explain why this is a good thing and how we should all be doing the same with our own finances at home. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, good to see you, Liz, as well, and always a pleasure to be on Alpha News.
And this is a good thing, right? We should be happy about the moves we've been seeing.
Right. I think Americans, first of all, should be upset about where our tax dollars were going, and we should be ecstatic what is happening right now. President Trump is doing what he said he was going to do, right? And I think that leaves a lot to be desired for most politicians and our expectancy of what politicians do. But he is doing what he said he was going to do, and we've seen hundreds of billions of dollars of programs cut that DOGE had found that was just wasteful spending, in our opinion. I think millions of dollars go to Egypt to do a play every year. I mean, things like that. When we have veterans who need health care, they need housing. That is a little upsetting. So the hundreds of billions of dollars, along with just recently, they found the U.S. Treasury, I don't know if it's lost, but it's unaccounted for, almost $5 trillion, $4.7 trillion that was not coded. So they have no way to trace where this money went. And being what our government has been doing, we just got to think the worst. This probably didn't go to the right places as well. And that's 1/8 of our national deficit, by the way. When we talk about how bad our deficit is, over $35 trillion, and 1/8 of it is just lost that we can't account for, that's frustrating. And so I'm happy that the transparency is different than what other administrations have been. And so we need to do the same too with our budget. And so I like getting their financial house in order, the government. We need to do that as Americans as well. We can't be spending more money than we make. We can't keep raising our credit limit every year when we have credit issues. Got to get that foundation of a budget. You know, income's coming in, expenses are going out. Otherwise, we have judgments and foreclosures and bankruptcies. And, you know, I can't stress enough with credit cards. Credit cards should be a convenience. It should not be a personal loan. Use your credit cards because you have the money to spend it. Pay it off every month. Don't use it for a short-term loan.
Of course, a lot of news also about tariffs. What do you think? Good, bad for the American people, Mike?
What President Trump is doing is, I think, trying to get our fair share there, because up till recently, we're still in the lowest end of countries in the nations here that charge on tariffs. I mean, I was looking at the numbers here, 2.4% tariff we put on motorcycles coming from India. 2% on industrial goods, 5% on agricultural goods, but India is charging us 100% tariff on motorcycles going into India. So I think it's good to have the countries pay their fair share because we've been too nice. Even where I'm from, northern Minnesota, when they put this tariff on steel, well, I'm happy because I grew up in the iron ore country where open pit mining is going to be stronger for my family members, my friends. A couple of things that tariffs are good for: raising revenue. We're spending $2 trillion more than we're bringing in revenue in the government. So with the DOGE cuts, along with the tariffs, it's going to do hopefully help President Trump maintain those promises, which is going to be no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, not taxing Social Security, which what it used to be back in 1983 and prior.
And lastly, Mike, President Trump has been hinting about not having an IRS at all anymore, possibly also moving to a flat tax system through that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
Personally, it's exciting. I think eliminating the income tax all entirely and going to a flat sales tax system. Yeah, I've heard numbers in the 20s, 23, 25% sales tax on everything. So the more money you make, the more money you spend, you're going to pay more taxes. Obviously somebody who makes a couple $100,000 is going to spend more money than somebody who makes $40,000, $50,000. So the fair share. Eliminating corporate tax, personal tax, death tax, gift tax, payroll tax, everything excluded possibly. And it's a real thing. There was some pending legislation that was submitted January 9th of this year by Buddy Carter, Republican out of Georgia, called the Fair Tax Act, hopefully eliminating the IRS. And just pretty much stating, why are we having CPAs and tax attorneys doing our taxes? Why are things so complicated and expensive? Things should be simple and make it fair for everybody. And for those who are concerned about illegals being in the country, well, they'd have to pay too, because if they buy something, they have to pay taxes. And when I take a vacation, here and there to Europe, I have to pay their taxes. Why shouldn't people visiting this country pay taxes as well?
and seems top of mind as well as tax season is upon us. But Mike Koyanen with Principal Preservation Services, head to their website, of course, for much more information. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for being here.
Good seeing you, Liz.